Good morning, everyone. It's Silva, and at the point of this, when you see this video, I'll have less than 2 weeks to go before I hit the Appalachian Trail. So I thought I would do a quick about me video, just to kind of give you some more details about me. The trail is either all ice or leaves, so I have spikes on, but then I feel like I need to take them off and put them on. It's kind of interesting terrain right this minute. Spring in Maine. Alright, so I'm killing some time in between things. Had to drop Matt off at work because we're still sharing one car. That way we only have one payment while I'm on trail. And I'm on my way. I have some blood work to do this morning around 8:30. So I dropped him off and I thought I'd get a couple miles in on trail while I wait for that blood work. And so it's a little chilly yet, but it's supposed to warm up to almost 50 degrees, so. Alright, so I thought I'd start with some basic facts. My off-trail name is Tina, but I go by Silva on trail. That's my trail name. And probably what you almost always hear in my videos. I am 51 and I will turn 52 on trail. Me and Matt have been married 33 years. Wow, seems crazy. We'll hit 34 years in June, so whether I come home for that or not, I don't know yet. Time will tell. I have 3 adult children. My oldest is my son, and then I have 2 daughters, and they're all in their 20s. Well, at least for the moment. My son will hit 30 this summer. That's a little weird. And I have one amazing, beautiful grandchild, Jasper, and he is almost a year and a half. Not quite, but he is beautiful. So I am done at my job now. I finished last week, so that's pretty weird. I did work at a bank, and that's what I've been doing for the last few years. Absolutely loved my work family. Everyone is amazing, and it's a great company, but banking isn't really my passion at all. So it's been a great job to fill in the gaps while I figure out what I do want to do. In 2021, I completed 657 miles of the Appalachian Trail. My intention was to thru-hike the entire trail, but I got injured, so I had to get off trail. So I'm pretty excited to get back on trail this year and finish what I started, or turn it into a thru-hike. I hadn't decided yet. I'm picking up where I left off and heading north, and then I'll decide as I go, or when I get to Katahdin, if I want to keep it as 2 separate lashes, or if I want to flip back down and make it a thru-hike. Another interesting fact is I am vegan, and I have been for almost 7 years, I think it is now. And I stayed vegan while I was on the trail in 2021, and I will remain vegan on the trail this year. So if you didn't see my last video, I'll link it here. This is about some plant-based options for trail, some of which I'll be using, some I didn't like. It was a fun taste test. So you can check that out if you're interested. Also, as a side note, if you're interested or was wondering why I was having blood work, if you remember, if you've seen the video, if not, I'll link it here. Last fall, I talked about medical issues I was having. I was extremely anemic and had to have iron infusions. And this is just my final check. My hematologist wanted to check one more time before I went back on trail and check my levels. They were good before, but she wanted to do another check. And she said she could probably sneak me in for another iron infusion if my levels dropped at all. So that's why I'm going back right so close to hitting the trail again. Next week I'll have my final appointment with her. This week it's the blood work. So I feel good, so I'm not too concerned. So where am I from and how did I ever get into hiking and backpacking? Well, if you can't tell by my accent, I am born and raised and lived permanently as a Mainer my whole life. So if you can't tell by my accent, that's probably a good thing, right? But I love Maine. I love, being able to go to the ocean or the mountains. I prefer the mountains and rarely go to the ocean, but I love being able to go if I want to. So, and sometimes I get really cool and get to hike by the ocean on a mountain. That's always fun. And how did I get into hiking and backpacking? Well, when the kids were little, we did do little hikes. Nothing extreme, mostly state parks and, getting the kids out for little day hikes and picnics. And we always loved that. And then kind of got away from it as they were teenagers and getting into, all of their activities and running around with 3 teenagers and keeping track of everything. And then, one by one, they kind of flew the coop, right? They left the nest. And then suddenly we were empty nesters trying to figure out what we liked to do. And we did remember that we used to hike even before we had kids. And so we started hiking again. And I fell in love with hiking and the Appalachian Trail and those dang white blazes. And then figured out how to go solo backpacking and solo hiking, and just knew that, my calling was the Appalachian Trail. But I was pretty much just an average family. I am an average hiker. I would love, to say I can whip out 20-mile days or pull out of the gate like you see some of these amazing hikers, starting out with 15, 17 miles a day and building up to 20, 25 miles a day or more. That is not me. And you know what? That is okay. I had a hard time with that last time on the trail, thinking I really needed to be like one of them. But I don't need to be, and I don't want to be, because that's them and I'm me. And you know what? I will probably average 12 miles a day, 15 on my big days, and that is okay, because I am still having the time of my life. And it's all about what works for my body and not trying to injure myself to, be able to pull off miles that I'm just not able to do. One of the things that I've come to love about being an average hiker and not feeling like I can pull off those giant miles is feeling like if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because it doesn't take a super athlete or someone that can pull huge miles to get out there and hike. Maybe you only want to do day hikes. That's fine. I love day hiking. Maybe you want to just do weekend trips and be a weekend warrior, and that's okay too. Maybe you want to do sections or a thru hike. Any and all of it is fantastic, and I just encourage everybody to get out there however they want to and whatever level you're at. Another fun fact about me that I don't know if I've mentioned before is I homeschooled my kids long before COVID and online schools. We had chosen to homeschool, and for the most part we had a blast. We had our days that were not as fun, especially when we started doing algebra and chemistry and with a teenage son who did not want to do algebra and chemistry, but for the most part we had a blast. So those years are pretty precious to me. I got to spend a lot of time with my kids and build that connection, and it was wonderful. I wouldn't change it for the world. So what did I do for a living while I was homeschooling? Well, Matt worked a lot and I did part-time work. Sometimes it was cleaning for a commercial cleaning company, businesses after they were closed. I helped teach dance classes because my kids were all into dance, and it helped offset the cost of their activities. Let's see. Those are the two big things that I did. Then when my youngest had just a couple of years of school left, I think I entered full-time workforce, and we would homeschool. I went in a little bit later in the day, and we would homeschool before I left for work for the day, and then she took a couple classes at the local high school. And that's how we managed that. Really, like I said, sort of an average person, but it's taken me this whole time to find my passions and what I want to be doing when I get back from, this long distance hike. And I think that's okay. I think people, especially young people, and I thought it for years, well, what do I want to do with my life? I need a specific career path. I need, to know what I'm doing every step of the way. And I just feel like sometimes it takes living life for several years or a couple years or multiple, long time like me, to figure out what your passion is and what you really want to do with your life. I don't think there's one specific answer for everyone. I think you have to figure it out yourself. You have to give yourself the grace and time to figure that out. A few more random facts about me. I still love listening to classic 80s rock music. So much fun. I love Harry Potter. Kind of a Harry Potter nerd. And I share that love with all my kids. So that's fun. My favorite food in all the world is pizza. Followed very closely by a Beyond Burger. Or a good black bean burger. Those are really yummy. Ooh, water. I'm a definite dog person. I love dogs. We've had a dog continually almost since we moved into our house 20 years ago almost now. I'll insert a picture here of our dog Molly. And you saw Charlie, my daughter's dog, in the food video, but I'll throw in another picture here because he's such a cutie. Almost forgot about my probably unhealthy addiction to Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, which I know I won't get much of on trail. It's okay. I'll just have to drink a bunch before I go. That's all. All right, I think that about wraps it up. Thanks so much for following along. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a fantastic week. I'll be doing my final gear video soon. I'm looking forward to putting that one out. I am getting so excited. Less than 2 weeks to go. Whew, it's a lot to finish getting done, but I'm almost there. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.